Hi, it's Eve from Fasting, Feasting, Foodie, and in this podcast I'm going to talk about being high on hunger, on intermittent fasting, and especially on OMAD. OMAD is a way of eating where or when you eat once a day. So you can say that we feel hunger. People who follow OMAD feel hunger lots of time. And today I would like to tell you what it means for me to be high on hunger, how I feel it, and what are the benefits and dangers of hunger on OMAD intermittent fasting. Uh, Hunger for me, I like hunger. Actually, I like it very much because if I didn't like it, I wouldn't be able to follow this strategy. I would have quit. I would have quit intermittent fasting long ago if I didn't like hunger, because hunger is there still. It was there in the beginning. It was there after several months and several years. It is now after 12 years of OMAD intermittent fasting. But my perception of hunger has changed throughout the time. It's less severe experience. I got used to it because in the beginning you are not used to hunger because you are taught to avoid it at any cost. Eat not in response for hunger or in response to hunger, or eat to prevent hunger. That's the mainstream nutritional advice, even for people who want to lose weight. Don't wait for hunger to appear. Eat before it strikes, because if it appears, you would eat everything in sight. That's, I think, the thinking behind it. So in the beginning it was there, severe, but also it was challenging in the beginning, of course, but this challenge gave me some sense of accomplishment, that I could control my body, that I could survive on this, that I could actually do lots of things I would think are impossible in a fasted state. And now my perception changed in the sense that I can feel it, it's there, but I don't pay so much attention to it. But there is this slight nagging somewhere here in my stomach. And I think that, so I told you that one of the benefits of hunger is that it gives you the sense of accomplishment, that you can just tackle it, that you have control over it, and nothing terrible happens. The other advantage of hunger is that it gives you some sort of lightness and energy. That's the high that I was talking about. That it gives you lightness and energy, and you don't feel so because you are not overstuffed with food, and you move different, really. You walk different, you think different. Another thing about thinking, better mental clarity. Definitely that's the biggest asset of hunger and intermittent fasting. That it gives you a better mental clarity. Maybe not so much because of hunger, but to digest food you have to use lots of blood. Has to be directed to your stomach and intestines. So digestion requires blood and requires lots of energy. So you are ripped of the energy. Digestion is more important than thinking about what you are going, for example, to write for your work. So I could feel that my mental clarity improved, and I just felt like doing more things. I still feel like doing more things in the fasted state, and when I'm after eating, I don't feel like doing much because I have done much eating, yes, and digestion is going on. You know, of course, we might argue that digestion is always going on because digestion lasts sometimes 36 hours. But we are not going to go into the nuisance into the nuances of this. Mental clarity is the asset, the biggest asset for me, and this feeling of lightedness. And here is where some people might think that I'm promoting anorexia, actually, that I am anorectic, that eating once a day and that I glorify hunger. And I'm far from I'm far from glorifying anorexia, but I glorify hunger. And well, these are two things that I and anorectics have in common. We both glorify hunger, but the difference is that for me, hunger is just prelude to pleasure of eating later on. And for anorectics, hunger is just prelude to being thinner and thinner and dying actually eventually. So it's just like prelude to oh my god, to self-extinction, actually, annihilation, I wanted to say. And that's the important difference. So I'm after fasting for 22, 23 hours. I'm able to eat normally without any pricks of conscience. I enjoy my food, and anorectics are not able to do this because food for them is the enemy that is, you know, that is farther, that is just taking them away from their goals. And that's the main difference between us. We both love hunger, we both glorify it, but for different reasons, and those reasons are extremely important, and that they make the difference. So am I glorifying hunger? Yes. Am I glorifying anorexia? No, definitely no. And because I know that what anorexia is, it's just a serious mental illness that is very hard to treat and to cure. It might return, and I would just like people to know the difference. And I would like to warn people with eating disorders that to really think very hard before going to any, fasting protocols, before applying fasting protocols into their lives, because it might be very dangerous for you. Well, that's all that I would like to tell you. Thank you very much for listening. Bye.